here is a good information for everybody. Have the rich taste of fruit in different form at your parties, event, church program, on social engagement like wedding, birthday, conference, in your house, and lots more. Fruit cocktails, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration, fruit kebab, and lots more at Sweet Heart Fruit Company. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ní gbogbo ibi tí a bá ti ń ṣe àríyá, ìgbéyàwó, ọjọ́ ìbí, àjọ̀dún ilé ìjọsìn, níbi afẹ́ tàbí ibi ìgbádùn àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, ẹ kàn sí Sweet Heart Fruit ní èyíkéyìí ohun tí ẹ bá fẹ́ kí wọ́n fi fruit dálára fún yín bíi fruit cocktail, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà, ẹ lè kàn sí wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 079-442-78530 or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all social media platforms at Sweet Heart Fruit. Oluwaseun Akishoun is the CEO of Sweet Heart Fruit. Patronize us at Sweet Heart Fruit today. You will be glad you business with us.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our fourth show, Enough is Enough, SORO SOKE, hosted by me, your host, Mr. FEMI OKE, and sponsored by Betta9ja. This is a show dedicated to debate and discussion centered on making a better Niger for all of us. Tonight's show is titled APC and PDP, Two Sides of the Same Coin. Which Way 2023? And with me, my guest in the studio is Mr. ADEOYE. Good evening, sir. Nice to see you. And on Zoom, via Zoom, we have Mr. Mackwin. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Femi. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Fantastic. Nice to have you both with us. So if you want to be involved in this program, we're sorry we're slightly late, but you can call in, and the number to call is +44 791 809 952. I said again, +44 791 809 952. There's also another number, +44 203 774 7220. So today, we want to discuss about APC and PDP. PDP was swept out for being incompetent and leading a corrupt government with mounting insecurity challenges. On the other hand, with AP's change to the next level, Nigerians are now enduring more misery, hardship, and insecurity, and shouts from many quarters of incompetence. Is the problem the parties, or is it the leaders that they select to rule us?
Once again, I would have to say good evening to our viewers again, wherever you are watching us from. The problem with politics in Nigeria generally is not just about the political parties mentioned. I belong to the PDP. I've been a member of this political party for over 2 years. From the inception of this party by General Jeremiah Husseini, the idea was to create a platform that would be fit for 21st century, which is the Fourth Republic. Going by previous problems we had past governments since independence. The idea of PDP was to say, okay, look, since 1960 up to 1998, we've never had stability with government. It's either the military coming in, coups, right, left, and center. So PDP came into the equation, and for the first 8 years, under the leadership of retired General Olusegun Obasanjo, the party front. We did well. People buy into that concept the ideologies that brought the party into the limelight. And I would say we had a relatively successful, 8 years under Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. The problem we have in Nigeria is continuity. And continuity is the reason why Nigeria is in such a mess that we're in now. You see, because when Chief Obasanjo came into power, he was able to use his experience, both as a former military head of state, and he was able to bring in people of like minds. He was able to bring in people who, shared his ideology for a better Nigeria.
Yeah. But I don't want us to dominate this discussion and just the history of PDP. The topic is about APC and PDP are one and the same. So what I'm trying to say...
I'm just trying to give you an idea how everything started very well. And all of a sudden, cracks started happening within the party mainstream. And what you said earlier is it the political parties themselves that are not fit for purpose, or people who are actually managing the affairs of these parties? You have to understand that it's people that will come to form a political party anyway. But at the end of the day, it is your vision and the dreams that you have for the people you want to serve that matters at the end of the day.
So what's the difference between PDP and
the difference between PDP and the present party in power now is we started very well, but unfortunately we didn't have. I wouldn't actually blame it, solely at the foot of the president that took over from, the history of what happened when Obasanjo handed over to.
That was continuity, wasn't it?
Continuity, yeah.
It was handpicked by Obasanjo, wasn't it?
I wouldn't say handpicked, because Baba came out robustly to denounce why would you impose a sick man who you knew wasn't in the best of health? But at the time, Baba wanted somebody who would be able to continue with the 8 years of what he was able to do when he was the president. But unfortunately, as you and I know, Yar'Adua was able to implement a lot of policies.
Let me pose a question to Mackwin. Mr. Mackwin, are you there?
I'm here.
Fantastic. What is your view? Is APC and PDP, are they one and the same? I mean, PDP had 16 years. Many say 16 years of mediocre government. I know Mr. Oba said 8 years was great. I mean, many will question that.
But however, there's 16 years of mediocrity. And now we have APC, and they're bedeviled with Baba Go Slow, poverty capital of the world, all the problems, insecurity. What is the difference between PDP and AP? I believe you are also a PDP man, so I'm the minority here today.
The problems that Nigeria is into today is caused by every Nigerian. The party APC and PDP and the leadership. And I say the problem is caused by every Nigerian because I will take, for example, while growing up, in the late 60s and the early 70s, Gowon was the head of state. And at a point, at that time, I didn't know any difference in governance. But he was overthrown because some people felt that his leadership style was not right, or that he was supposed to have handed over to a democratic government at a particular time, and he had no plans in place.
He wanted to stay there forever.
Yes, well, that was the thinking. Now, some people now took over. Then it was followed by a bloody coup because the person there was doing some things that some people didn't like.
Are you talking about the bloody
So
coup?
coups. So it continued coups after coup until Obasanjo was able to hand over to Shagari. Now, we also saw some incompetence there. I was wise enough to understand a bit of politics and governance as at that time. And I saw how some individuals pocketed the government. Then came Buhari and Etienne. And the thinking was that these are the messiahs. And of course, they started well. Started instilling discipline into Nigerians, where you will queue for almost everything. But then, some other people came again, Babangida, and derailed that. Well, Nigerians thought that was good, and they were thinking, okay, eventually Babangida will hand over to a democratically elected government. Babangida wanted to stay there. Until
McQueen.
He was pushed out by his colleagues in the military.
Yeah, Mr. McQueen.
Yeah.
I don't want us to delve so much on the history because...
So what I am trying to say, is that it is like Nigeria is like a football game where you find spectators know how to play the game more than the players.
That's true. That's what's happening right now.
Now, we outside tend to criticize every of our leader as if we are able to do it better. And our leaders don't go in there with the desires to help or to lead the people wholeheartedly. They go in, most of them go in there to settle scores. Oh, this man, when he was in the leadership or when he was president, he did this, I'm going to get at him. And I must become president and get back what he did to me. I mean, of course, if you give Babangida, for example, a chance now, he will want to be leader. He will want to come back as president. But age and health may not be on his side.
Okay.
The problem, we are the cause, all of us are the cause of the problem that Nigeria is in.
Nigerians are the problems of
yes.
our democracy. Okay, let's move on now. I want to ask another question to Oba in the studio. Look, political prostitution has been the order of the day, and this has been the main problem why people say APC and PDP, what's the difference? Atiku was in APC, he was in PDP. In fact, he was in PDP first. In fact, he's been in several parties. PDP, he went to another party, ANP, and then he went back to PDP, then he went to APC, and now he's back in PDP.
Yeah.
Okay, we've had the governor of Ebonyi State, David Umahi. He's just joined the APC now.
APC now, yeah.
Governor Edo Obaseki.
Moved from
APC
to PDP.
To PDP. All right.
No,
we've got Governor of Ogun State, former Ogun State Governor, Benga Daniels, PDP. He's now in APC. Yeah. All right. Fani Kaide, Femi, my namesake. Apparently, he's supposed to be joining APC as well.
He's denounced that anyway.
Say it again?
He's denounced that.
Okay, good.
So, we can't really confirm.
Apparently, APC didn't want him anyway, but who knows? No. The point I'm trying to say is political prostitution has become the order of the day.
Yeah.
What is the situation in our politics in Nigeria? This is why they say there is no difference between APC and PDP. You can put on APC coat today, and by the time you go to bed, you're going to be in PDP umbrella. You know, what's going on?
You see, the problem, the way I look at it and the way I see it is, if these people are switching allegiance from one political party to the other, just because of the differences in policies. You know, if you belong to a particular political party and maybe you no longer feel comfortable with the modalities or the structure of the party, and you left that party for another party in the interest of democracy and as a matter of principle, that is quite understandable, and people will be able to appreciate that more than if you have now crossed party for personal reasons.
Yeah, but which of these people or any of them are doing it for principle? We know they're selfish, corrupt politicians.
I mean, we have to look at things from an individual perspective. Okay, with Atiku, his own reasons for moving from APC back to PDP was because he said he no longer believes in the ideologies and what they stand for.
Why did he leave PDP in the first place?
Only Elijah Atiku can answer that question.
You're being,
no.
I think you're being diplomatic with the truth. Clearly, sorry,
listen.
I just want to interject.
Yeah.
He wanted to be president. It's been his ambition from day one.
Yes.
He couldn't get it on the PDP platform.
Which is his constitutional right.
Anyway, of course it is. But because he couldn't get it on the PDP platform, he jumped ship to APC. He realized that he couldn't get it under APC for the second term of Buhari, so he jumped ship to PDP. I mean, there's no policy here. It's not about democracy. It's about selfish interest.
That's what I said earlier. You know, if it's about selfish interest and personal aggrandizement, then, you know, it becomes a problem, because basically what you're saying to, you know, the people that look up to you as leaders and as people who are meant to, you know, serve their interests, is you're not actually there for them in the first instance.
But
you know,
all Nigerians know that no politician is there for them. 60 years of disastrous leadership.
We cannot now generalize it. We have to look at each individual cases.
Yeah, let's get on to Mr. Mackwin. I know what you're saying.
Okay,
but I
thank you.
Okay. Most Nigerians have said that we've had 60 years of bad governance. Irrespective of who the leader is, whether he's military, whether he's civilian, whether it's MPN, whether it's PDP or APC, the general leadership and the governance has been bad. And we need to fall back on the party structures. Now, that's why they're saying they're all the same. Military, civilian, they're the same.
That's right.
Mackwin,
now,
what I want to ask you, Mr. Mackwin, what I want to ask you is that it's often said that the reason why we've got this political prostitution and all that kind of stuff is because our parties have no doctrine. There's no principles and are not based on any clear foundations. What kind of party democracy do we have in Nigeria? There's no distinction between APC and PDP, according to some people. I disagree with that. What is your point? What is your view?
It is the people that make up a party. And for them to have any policies in place, the people themselves have to be disciplined. But what I have seen growing up and to the point where I am today is that generally we are a greedy people and unprincipled. And to hear that the man that was rumored to be moving to APC has debunked it, I'm impressed. The only time I would say I am having any respect for this particular man, because he has been running his mouth from left to right. He was in APC at a point. He ran to PDP. He insulted PDP to high heavens or to hell. And then he ran back to PDP. And I heard that he was going to APC. And I said, well, the man was going to go to APC because following his precedents, there's nothing that he cannot do for money. But if now I'm hearing that he is not going into APC, or that it is not correct that he is moved into APC, I'm impressed. And about the other leaders, the other so-called leaders, I would say, they don't have the interest of Nigerians at heart. All of them have the interest of themselves, just their own self-interest. That is why they keep jumping from one party to the other. Because if you are a principled person, you get married, for example, to a lady, Today you are with her, tomorrow you are there, the next day you are there. Then where's the discipline? And how are you going to lead? That is just an example. So if they are not principled enough or disciplined enough to remain in one party, it doesn't matter whether it is PDP or APC, then it means they don't have the interest of the people of Nigeria at heart.
I want to agree with you that, Mackwin, that we have unprincipled leaders. It's just it's a fact, and that is the reason why they can jump ship from one party to another, and the lexicon political prostitutes is what is to the fore. We can't call them politicians. We should emphasize that they're political prostitutes.
These are not politicians.
Who think that they can jump from one party to another in order to gain victory.
I mean, just because they want to get into leadership positions, they jump ship anytime. And then where is it? So you expect your electorates or your followers to follow you anytime you are going. And that is why they need so much money to be convincing their followers to be following them up and down. And how do they get this money? By pilfering the public funds. They go in there and, for example, I tell you, I worked in an organization where they were allocating contracts. This I tell you, if you like, you can go and check. They were allocating contracts for wife number 1, for wife number 2, for wife number 3.
Wow.
And how can you have that in a country of almost 150 million people?
In those days, there was nothing like the whistleblower program, I guess.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So let's
go
if you want to get any contract
now, and we'll come back and we'll add some more questions on this really pivotal topic. ABC and PDP, are there really any difference? Which way 2023? Is there going to be another option for the electorate? Thank you. We'll see you shortly after this.
Thank you.
Níbi àríyá tàbí lóde ayé sọ fún wọn nílé afẹ́ ò tàbí níbikíbi. Bóyá 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 ò kẹ́gbọ́n mi. Sweet heart fruit ń bẹ́lẹ̀ yìí dé o, kò táwọn yọ. Wow! Here is a good information for everybody. Have the taste of fruit in different form at your parties, event, church program, or social engagement like wedding, birthday, conference in your house, and lots more. Fruit cocktails, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration, fruit kebab, and lots more at Sweet Heart Fruit Company. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ní gbogbo ibi tí a bá ti ń ṣe àríyá, ìgbéyàwó, ọjọ́ ìbí, àjọ̀dún ilé ìjọsìn, níbi afẹ́ tàbí ibi ìgbádùn àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, ẹ kàn sí Sweet Heart Fruit ní èyíkéyìí ohun tí ẹ bá fẹ́ kí wọ́n fi fruit dálára fún yín bíi fruit cocktail, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà, ẹ lè kàn sí wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 079-442-78530 or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on social media platforms at Sweet Heart Fruit. Oluwaseun Akishoun is the CEO of Sweet Heart Fruit. Patronize us at Sweet Heart Fruit today. You will be glad you business with us.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Enough Enough, SORO SOKE, with myself, FEMI OKE, and my guest, Mr. Obanlewo, and Mr. Mackwin on Zoom. Look, really, we have politics in Nigeria, but it's not real, is it?
Yeah.
Is there anything like political manifestos in Nigeria? How come parties never abide by them? I mean, come on. What is the real meaning of manifesto? I mean, for example, I'm an APC man, strong supporter of President Muhammad Buhari, but I'm very disappointed that in our 2015 manifesto, one of the things that we talked about was restructuring.
Yes.
We've had internal, I can't remember what they call it, consultation as it were, with El Rufai as the head. They've come up with a report, hasn't seen the light of day.
No.
People are crying about restructuring left, right and centre. there's some type of restructuring that can be done with executive orders.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
It's not happening, yeah.
Okay? PDP were there. They had their manifesto. Did they actually execute their manifesto, if we want to be honest with ourselves? When I say we didn't have restructuring under PDP, people say it wasn't in their manifesto. So why do we need to have restructuring? They didn't plan for it. What is it that is in our politics where they just go to the elections, tell the election whatever they want to hear, and as soon as they're elected, that's it. They just go to looting and filling their bellies.
You see, Femi, it goes back to what I said a few minutes ago before we went on that short break. Manifesto, you know, the key focal point of any reasonable and sensible government is to make sure that everything that you promised the electorate during campaigning is to make sure that you stick to the principles and the ideologies of what you promised during campaign. Do not come into office and now scrap everything to now start putting your hands, inside the coffers of, That is that has already defeated the objective. The objective of good governance is to look at the plight of your people and look for ways in which you can improve the quality of lives of the people who voted for you. That is crucial, unemployment, infrastructures, education, health, every basic necessities of life. Those are the things. And now back to the question that you asked me earlier, and this is very, very, very important.
Okay, go for it.
When you go into government with an ulterior motive that differs from what a reasonable and sensitive government who believe in the value of citizenship, then these are the kind of problems that we will continue to have.
Okay. We've got a situation where, for example, in the last elections, we had Atiku running for government, this president, the PDP, your man, okay? And your man, Obasanjo, who you said did 8 years, was great. He was his vice president.
Atiku,
yes.
vice president. Yeah.
But he's lambasted him as a corrupt entity. But he was going for president of Nigeria. You just said, what is the point of someone going into government and yet their purpose of being to government is to be corrupt? Do you understand? And yet that's the same person that the same party was putting forward to us again as a repeat candidate. 2023 is on the line. I can see a position where Atiku's going to put his head up again. I mean, this is ridiculous, isn't it? Mackwin, what do you think? Are there no other candidates apart from Atiku and Tinubu and all these old fogies that need to rest?
Just to be polite, I think it is best for Atiku to sponsor somebody else. Now, why do I say so? When he was vice president to Obasanjo, what happened? How come his president did not support him to go in for the presidency? Why? Now, yes, in 2019, he was supported by Obasanjo, which means Obasanjo changed his mind. Why did Obasanjo change his mind? And they tried to convince Nigerians that what Obasanjo said earlier wasn't correct, or that Atiku has become a changed person. Why must it be the same old crop? Why do we continue doing the same thing and getting the same result and don't think that we should change or that we should do it differently?
Okay, on that point,
the recent appointment, of the young man called Bawa, that's about 40, as the chief of EFCC,
yes.
I think, I don't know him, and we may call it nepotism, we may call it sectionalism, we may call it whatever, that he is from the same part of the country with the president. I think it is the right step in the right direction. I have seen a letter somewhere, I don't know whether it is doctored, where it was signed by this Bawa, now inviting the chairman of APC. Is it a chairman or a leader of the APC? A leader of the APC to answer some questions for some things. And I think if the young men are given opportunity to act freely and especially against corruption, then that is the only time I will say we have started moving in the right direction. But if the old crop keep coming back, then we'll continue doing the same thing. We'll continue to be in the same problem. So we need to move away from there.
Yeah, I agree with you that if we keep having the same people, it's going to be the same old blah, blah, blah. But
yeah,
in 2015, we had what we call the third way, you know? People like Shore, Mogalo, Dorotoye.
Yeah.
Complete failures at the elections. So you, Mackwin, are saying that you want the new breed to come above. But
now,
what happened?
Yes. Okay, you see, the Nigerian system is not used to young people coming up like that. And there has to be a first time. Yes, they showed up in 2015. Now, they were not elected, but I tell you, if these same young people come up again, that shows the conviction or the determination with which they want to save Nigeria from this old crop of politicians. And I assure you that Nigerians, young and old, will vote for them.
Okay, thank you on that
I mean, there is this saying that persistence wears out resistance. So it is the old ways of doing things is being continued because the old people are still there. They have the money, they have the resources.
Okay.
And that's what they keep using.
Let me get back to Oba in the studio. So look, Oba,
okay.
Mackwin is saying that he believes that this time round, the new generation may, if they keep sticking at it, the people may believe in them. With less than 2 years to the next general elections, I can't see any signs on the ground of any viable alternative to take us away from Jekyll and Hyde politics. There is no alternative at the moment. So this belief in the new generation is a myth, isn't it? How's that going to really happen? I mean, we've had the end SARS, which shows that the youth are ready. They're almost livened up to changing things. Yeah. But really, that messed up with the protests. The protests turned into riots and all that kind of stuff. So where is the coherency in what they're doing to create a third option, a viable alternative for 2023?
Femi, the best answer to that question is for we Nigerians to sit tight and sit upright and say, look, the dynamics of politics has to change completely in Nigeria. Now, it was a good point that you mentioned the Mogalo, Rotoy, and Shore.
Amongst the several others.
Yes. You see, the system in Nigeria in respect of building leaders for tomorrow who can take over from this present crop of politicians that we have, is not clearly visible in Nigeria right now. My honest opinion and my honest answer to what you said is to look outwards and bring responsible Nigerians who have garnered a lot of experience in their respective fields, you know, to come and take over. You see, because the society that we presently have in Nigeria, with the present dispensation of the youths, they are not disciplined enough to be able to take over those responsibilities. You know, do you honestly want to tell me that somebody who probably graduated from university 15, 20 years ago with no job, who has been idle on the streets, you know, trying to make ends meet, who has not earned an honest penny in their lives, or those are the kind of people that you want to put in positions of authority?
Clearly not. Look,
you know,
we can go in. We're going to have another program where we're going to talk about leadership and quality of leadership.
Yes, so the quality of leadership, because in our beggars belief, why people are always saying, hang on, when people leave the shores of Nigeria and go to America, go to Canada, come to the UK, they flourish. It's because they are living in an enabling environment whereby all the attributes and the skills that they have and all the potentials in them, you know, they are being utilized in the best way possible. You know? So you cannot, in comparison to those who are back home in Nigeria, who have, you know, been suppressed, you know, they've had their confidence taken away from them, you know, they've not been given the opportunities. All they keep getting every 4 years is politicians who will promise them heaven and earth, and when they get into office, you know, everything changes. Yeah. So, from a couple of our programs that we did previously, I've always said it, you know, to subject the mind of an individual and make them feel worthless, you know, is the kind of politics the kind of politicians that we have in Nigeria.
Okay. Stomach infrastructure.
Yes.
People are in poverty, they can't vote.
Even people who
even
people who have the potential in Nigeria to maybe look at life.
Can I say something, please?
Different dimension. They're never going to be given that opportunity. Okay. You see, because who's there to support them? Okay. And that's the problem we have.
Mr. Kuhn, you'll come in just a minute. I would ask callers, if you want to call in, the number to call is +44 791 809 952 or +44 203 774 7220. Mr. McQuinn, what do you want to say to that?
You see, we have unemployment here in the UK. Yes. We have unemployment in the West, I would say generally, and as in Nigeria.
But not at the same levels.
Yeah, well, not at the same levels, it's understandable. But you see, it is based on the level of development of each country. Now, in our country, we have not developed to a point where we will say we will have, say, 10% unemployment. You understand? Because the old crop have persisted and they are there. They have the resources and they use these resources against the youth at every time. And as we were saying, these youngsters...
Look at NSARS. You saw how they managed to generate so much money.
That's where I'm going. Yeah. That's where I'm going.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, you see, we have youngsters. You look at SORO, for example. Look at Soyede from here, for another example. And then the Mackwin you mentioned. These are people that have, would I say, they are on ground most times in Nigeria. And they have followership in Nigeria. But the only problem that these youth lack is the resources or money.
Yeah, but that's why I said that in NSARS, they managed to galvanize and get money together. All the youths, they managed to fund it. They were eating food on the protest, drinks and everything. We were even having parties. So they managed to galvanize money on the social media. Lots of people were donating and they were generating millions. Look, Showore did through his Twitter and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. He generated millions as well. In fact, people saying that he collected all that money for his own private gain. Because when he got to the electorate, he didn't really do much with that money that he raised. Look, I don't have so much confidence.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure of that. I'm not sure of that because.
I mean, it's an allegation. I'm not saying it as a fact.
Yeah, yeah. So you see, You see, the all crop of leaders that are there are doing all they can with all means to make sure they suppress the youth.
Good. But look, the youth themselves have failed. Sorry, Mackwin, but in the last
No, because they have not been given the opportunity.
No, in the last election, I mentioned those three persons, Shore, Magalu, and Otoye. They had a seminar where they should have come together and united and created one viable, youthful alternative. They couldn't even get their act together. So
it is never too late.
Look, no, well, I'm not saying. Well, we're looking ahead in 2023.
2023.
We've got less than 2 years. They haven't started talking. They haven't started galvanizing. So you've got a situation where we've got toilet paper as our voters' roll. 99 odd parties. Is this a serious kind of way to do politics? You can't have that many parties and expect to have a viable alternative. There's
how long? Let me ask you one thing, Femi.
Go ahead.
How long between when did Atiku join PDP to contest for the presidency in 2019?
Was he not with PDP from the onset? You mean APC? He joined APC in 2015. So I mean,
and then when did he leave APC to PDP to contest for the presidency?
Oh, that was hardly that. It was last minute, wasn't it?
Do you see? So
but he has the financial resources.
If Soyode and Magalu still have 2 years, don't be surprised. Before the middle of this year, there will be that coalition. It is possible.
All right, you seem
in
to have
preparation for 2023.
Mackwin seems to have confidence in the likes of Shore and Magalu. I doubt that very much.
I mean, I think they have learned. They have learned that it is better for them to unite themselves.
They haven't shown any experience of this learning, and we'll wait to see. We'll keep our eyes on that. Let me move back to Obanlewo in the studio.
Okay.
The question I want to ask you now is: 2023 is coming. Will we have another northern president in 2023? Or is it time for presidency to rotate to the south? With 2 years to go, the two main parties have not made their positions clear on this very serious matter. What is to say about this? What's going to happen in 2023? Is it time to rotate the presidency to the south? And why are the parties silent on it? Your party.
When I look at the whole situation regarding 2023, and with the present political situation in Nigeria, most especially, in key major issues, insecurity, the economy. It is of great concern that we are still finding ourselves in a situation whereby nobody can categorically come out and say this is what is going to happen in 2023. All we keep getting in Nigeria is the same sort of politicians that have landed us in this peculiar mess that we're in. Names like Tinubu. Why can't we just you see, when it comes to the issue of that affects you and I, Nigeria as a country, bipartisan politics needs to come into the equation.
I couldn't agree more.
That should be the way forward. And until we begin to understand the magnitude of what is on ground now, PDP, my party, with the depth of internal wrangling, within the party itself, and what is happening in the APC with people, switching allegiance from one party to the other. There's no discipline, in the political scene presently.
So we agree that
until people, because I don't know, could it be a situation whereby the Showores and the Drotoyes have given up on Nigeria? Because I would have expected them, having tried in the last 4 years
and failed
to come up with laudable programs that people would see, you know. And I'm sure, Femi, there are so many people who are within the system who can do a very good job for Nigeria, but through maybe reasons best known to them, are not just ready to come out. It's either they're not comfortable with the situation. It's either they're not getting enough support, because people who really want to serve and want to serve the interest of their people will not be given the opportunity.
On that point, I mean, look, you said that there's so many good people out there,
yes,
quality people out there. When are we going to have possibly a female president or vice president? We've had the appointment of Okonjo-Iweala as the head of WTO. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
What is it?
And that is the reason why I told you that I will still look at the Obasanjo administration as a credible government, you know, within the 8 years, because nobody can tell me that when this woman was the finance minister between 1999 and 2007, that she didn't put some measures in place to make sure that, you know, the economy was reversed. So,
yeah, well, I mean, I won't write off any government completely, but when we look at holistically as a complete package, no railways was built, the infrastructure wasn't done, nothing happening. Unemployment has consistently been in Nigeria from the 60s. It's not a new thing. We have it, sorry, let me just cut in. We have a narrative out there that unemployment has never been higher than ever before. Obviously, you've got COVID, you've had the crash in oil prices, and all those kind of things. There's good valued reasons for that. But having said that, as a consistency, Nigeria has maintained high levels of unemployment, high levels of poverty, high levels of infrastructure deficit, bad health, bad education, all the way through. Mackwin, is it time for a female president for Nigeria? I mean, forget about the parties for the moment. Is it time for us to have a female president or vice president?
You see, the thing is that it is time for every Nigerian that has attained the age and has the capacity to contest and be elected as the president of Nigeria. Not only a man, not only a woman. Now, yes, a woman can contest and be the president of Nigeria. However, our women in Nigeria have not been exposed or have not had the training, or do I say, will not have the confidence.
I've just mentioned Okonjo-Iweala. She's the head of WTO.
Now, even the appointment of Okonjo-Iweala, what was the input of Nigeria in that her appointment?
Oh, they put her forward. She couldn't have got anywhere without the support of the Nigerian government.
Initially, it was a struggle.
That was because of Trump.
No, I mean, I know America was initially against it, I understand, but Nigeria would have succumbed.
No, it's not a matter of, look, the international politics of the WTO is clear that if
what I mean is,
sorry, Mackwin, if America doesn't support the final candidate, that candidate cannot take up office. It was Donald Trump that stopped Okonjo-Iweala, not Nigeria. Nigeria was fully behind her.
But from the initially there wasn't that push for Okonjo-Iweala to become the
I couldn't agree with what you're saying.
Now it is her ability and her capacity.
So that's what I'm saying. Women have got the capacity. We have many strong women in Nigeria, and this is the point.
Have they come forward? Have they come forward?
Well, we don't have a single female governor in Nigeria. We've had
that is what I am saying.
Deputy governors. Yeah.
You see, because
not one has become governor.
We have got this. That's what I say. Now that we have got this mentality that women and that men should lead in Nigeria. That is what is happening.
Candidate Mama Taraba.
Yeah.
She was a candidate. She was a sorry, Mackwin. She was a strong supporter of Atiku. She left APC with Atiku, a main man, to PDP. She didn't win though.
Well,
she was on the verge of victory with
it's not because she's a woman.
But when it came
it's not because she's a woman.
No,
Maybe she just did not win because she didn't have enough electorate or enough support.
Nigeria's not ready for a female president. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that is possibly, to round it up, that is possibly what I would say. Not because the women cannot do it, but because the population have not had this, do not have the idea of a woman as a leader, a governor or a president. And I don't know why. They see other countries having women leaders, but I don't know why. Is it because of religion or what? I don't know. So I think we have a long way to go for Nigerians to vote a woman as a leader, a governor or a president.
It's going to be quite a while, isn't it?
It will take some little time.
Okay. Let me move on to Oba in the studio. Look, let's look at what's happening in Nigeria now. I mean, it's relevant to APC, VPDP, and the insecurity and what's going on across the nation. Thank God we've had the freeing of those 200-odd kidnapped girls, the bus kidnappers. Yeah. But then apparently there's been another load of kidnapping in Niger again. Yeah. And I remember one minister said, kidnapping is not going to happen anymore. It happened, this is already happening. Kidnapping has become the norm. Not even a norm, it's become a business. Yeah? Nigerians are crying out against xenophobia, meted to Nigerians and other parts of the continent. Meanwhile, the biggest xenophobia against fellow Nigerians is perpetrated by Nigerians against themselves. This is part of the narrative that is causing this insecurity and the disunity in a country. When you've got so much disunity, people are looking to separate instead of unifying. How can they defeat a common enemy, which is criminality? Criminality doesn't have an ethnic face. How are we going to do it when you have these xenophobic tendencies happening? When we're in the UK, we say this one is racist, that one's racist, but there's more xenophobia back home. What are we going to do about that? Without a united country, you talked about having bipartisan approach. Security should be a bipartisan matter.
Whereby everybody agrees on
Why is it that APC and PDP are turning its security into a party political football? Shouldn't it be something that Nigerians as a whole support together, whether you're APC, PDP, whether you're Yoruba, whether you're Fulani, whether you're Tiv, Irobo, whatever. Insecurity is insecurity.
Absolutely.
What's going on in Nigeria?
The people who should be deliberating on the best way forward are those people sitting in the lower chambers and the upper echelon of the legislative part of government. And it is their responsibility and their duty as senators and the House of Representative members to come up with ideas to tackle this problem. But the problem we have with our people is until a particular problem affects their own members of the family, people just tend to think, oh, look, it's of less concern. Insurgency, banditry, people traveling from one particular region to another in Nigeria is becoming a major problem. People are being slaughtered on the roads of southwest Nigeria, southeast Nigeria, even in the north. Children are being kidnapped. But what we keep getting, in the chambers is endless debates without proper solutions. How do we come up with these solutions? It's to call the president of Nigeria to account. Make sure that you invite the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to summon him to the Senate. Nigerians need to ask him questions. What are you doing as the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to make sure that this pandemic, this problem that has blighted the lives of many Nigerians, is brought to a halt? Good. There must be, you see, and that is because we don't have a proper policing system, and the army can only do so much with limited resources. All right. When you are faced with a situation where the people that you want to even go and face have more ammunition than you, Femi, these are people who carry AK-47s. These are people who carry sophisticated weapons. What do you expect the army to do when these people are not being fully equipped with all the machinery and all the things that they need to face these people? Look, how many soldiers, how many lives are going to be wasted, on trying to tackle this problem?
The thing, so what I would want to say is, because I've got you and Mackwin are PDP side of things. Look, the president can't be summoned to the National Assembly because that's not constitutional. They can't summon the president. Let me finish. That can't happen anyway. Now, the president, Mackwin, has issued a shoot-to-kill policy. Now, and going to what Oba was saying, despite all the foregoings, our legislators, they should be acting fast to produce legislation to protect the government and the soldiers from prosecution. Because you know that the Amnesty International and all those people out there, they're going to be complaining and saying that extrajudicial killings, all President Buhari's detractors, they're telling him, be active, be active. Now he's now said, shoot to kill. They're now saying, oh no, that's no good. They recollect that during the time of OBJ, he issued a similar shoot to kill, not only against criminals, but also members of OPC. You understand? Who might not necessarily be armed. Let me finish. This is a shoot to kill policy to those carrying AK-47. What is your view?
My thinking is that that is desperate times call for desperate measures, as they say. Right. However, I am not in agreement with this measure taken by the president. Not that I don't want him to fight the criminals, but you see, there may be problems where, particularly in Nigeria, where you see the military in mufti, but with heavy arms. The police particularly, not in uniform, carrying heavy arms. So if a police officer or a soldier in uniform comes out and sees somebody carrying arms, he should just shoot him. What if he happens to be a military man?
We've actually had that situation already where the anti-robbery squad were killed by army men already. I mean, that's still under investigation and it hasn't seen the light of day yet.
So that is where the problem will be.
Yeah. So I agree, I understand your forgivings and the problems that might arise, but the rules of engagement must be changed to allow to kill on sight those who are creating havoc in Nigeria. I know what you're saying, but we've come to a very difficult position. On the one hand, we're saying the president is quiet, he's not speaking to the people, he's not acting enough, he's not determined enough, and when he now wants to act, we want to put the chains around him and stop him from really performing. This is a really difficult one to solve.
I think, well, as it is said, it's better late than never. He should have acted earlier. He didn't. And this is a president that was elected by Nigerians. And I am not saying that he is solely at fault. As I said earlier, all Nigerians have the blame to share in the situation that we find ourselves in today. However, the leadership should take much more responsibility. Now, being the president, you are voted in by the people. at least your presence should be felt. All these killings, kidnappings, raping, and so on, we have not had a single time where the president has gone to commiserate with the victims or the survivors, or their relations. Now, we only hear things like this one, that he has instructed that they should shoot anybody they see with AK-47. Where is he? Where is our president?
This is a very good question, Mackwin.
Do you understand?
Mr. Mackwin is asking, where is the president?
When all these things started, well, he came in when this thing was happening, like Boko Haram was there, kidnapping was there, and criminality was there when he came in. And that was one of the reasons that he insisted that he wanted to be president.
One of the main reasons why he was elected, yes.
Do you understand? And now,
corruption, and the economy.
Yes. And now, for this to worsen under him, then it makes complete nonsense.
Yeah. It's something
intentions.
to really address. Look, getting back to what Mackwin is saying, he's basically saying that with the level of insecurity, I mean, as I've already put forward to you, that insecurity has been a pervasive decimal in the Nigerian lexicon.
Yeah.
But having said that, there is a perforation that's happening now that's just, unbelievable, if you like. The silence or the absence of the president, my president, our president, is disturbing.
Yes.
And it goes back to my initial question, which I said that from the onset, that is the problem the parties or the type of leaders that they generate? We have a leader like Goodluck Ebele Johnson, where people were ashamed when he spoke. Jonathan. With his wife, Mama Peace, speaking out there, very disgraceful. You understand? Now we have a president that's like non-existent. And we had that before with Yaradua. He had health issues.
Health issues, yeah.
What disturbs me is that we allow the political elite to determine the kind of leaders that they put forward. And they put forward leaders knowing their health situation. Some may say they didn't know. It was obvious to anyone that President Muhammad Buhari had a health issue. It was obvious to anyone that Yaradua had a health issue. But yet they foist these people on us, and then you have a choice of two bad eggs. You don't have a choice, really. Why do we continue to have this kind of situation where we have presidents that can't speak to the people, and especially at the moment of need? We want to hear from the president. It's not about age, because we can see President Biden, who's more or less the age mate of our president.
Who is
doing
very proactive,
doing the needful.
Yeah.
What is going on? And as an APC man, I find it scandalous, the sycophancy, if you like, of our party members who say, we didn't vote a president that needs to speak. This is unconscionable. When your country is in crisis, you look forward to the leader to speak out, speak to power, give confidence to the people. You have a situation where you have crisis, you have ethnic rivalry and problems everywhere. I would expect that someone like Buhari, who lived a significant part of his time in the southwest, to speak to the people, to say, look, I lived with you guys. I am part of you. I am part of the Yoruba. I'm part of the Fulani. I'm with you. You understand? So, and you who are conducting these activities, supposedly in the name of Fulani, you're not speaking for me. Isn't that what the president should be saying?
You see, when the president...
That should be in an ideal world. That should be the necessary line of action. But rather than having the president come out, the only person who seems to be the talking, doing the talking rather, is FEMI OKE, who
I've seen Garba, I've seen some other people.
But at the end of the day, when these people come out, what they keep blabbing about on national TV is jargons. No, they never say things that is addressing the mood of the nation. You know,
I wouldn't say that they're not addressing it.
They're not addressing this.
The thing is, even if they are addressing it, because they are not the number one, they're not the president.
That is what I'm saying.
That message is not going to resonate.
It's not going to resonate. And that is the reason why I said a number of times senators in the Federal Republic of Nigeria has called on Mr. President to come out, publicly, to address these problems, especially in the area of insurgency, security-related issues. But
Mackwin,
when you have somebody who is just the president, just in office and not in power, not really showing your mettle, not really showing enough concern to the plights of your people, then you now have to begin to wonder who are the people who facilitated or initiated the idea, or who are the people who came up with the idea?
Someone just sent a message in
putting
here.
This man there in the first instance.
Before I come to Mackwin, someone has putting a message on where they said, look, as per the Constitution, one of the qualifications of being a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is to be psychologically and physically fit. And they're putting it that our president is not psychologically or physically fit to be the president. What do you say to that?
I mean, are you
Mackwin.
Yes, you see, it just boils down all to what we had spoken about earlier, Nigerians. Now, for example, the FEMI ADEOYE that was mentioned here as the media spokesman for the president, these people know that what they are doing, well, he is serving his master, and he has to do what he's told.
Let's just hold on. We're going to go for a break to get to our sponsors. Don't hold that thought. You're going to come back to us and then carry on where we left off. Is that okay, Mackwin?
Okay.
So we're going to go to a short break and we come back. Don't forget your train of thought.
Okay.
Níbi àríyá tàbí lóde ayé ṣe fún wọn nílé afẹ́ ò tàbí níbikíbi. Bóyá ò kẹ́gbọ́n mi. Sweet Heart Fruit ń gbẹ́lẹ̀ yìí dé o, ó táwọn yọ. Wow! Here is a good information for everybody. Have the taste of fruit in different form at your parties, event, church program, or social engagement like wedding, birthday, conference, in your house, and lots more. Fruit cocktails, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration, fruit kebab, and lots more at Sweet Heart Fruit Company. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ní gbogbo ibi tí a bá ti ń ṣe àríyá, ìgbéyàwó, ọjọ́ ìbí, àjọ̀dún ilé ìjọsìn, níbi afẹ́ tàbí ibi ìgbádùn àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, ẹ kàn sí Sweet Heart Fruit ní èyíkéyìí ohun tí ẹ bá fẹ́ kí wọ́n fi fruit dálẹ́rà fún yín bíi fruit cocktail, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà, ẹ lè kàn sí wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 079-442-78530 or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all social media platforms at Sweet Heart Fruit. Oluwaseun Akishoun is the CEO of Sweet Heart Fruit. Patronize us at Sweet Heart Fruit today. You will be glad you business with us.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Enough is Enough, SORO SOKE. We've been discussing Nigerian politics and whether APC and PDP are one and the same and which way forward in 2023. Again, I have Mr. Obanleo in the office, in the studio as it were, and Mr. Mackwin on Zoom. Mr. Mackwin, we were speaking previously and someone sent in a post saying that they're questioning the psychological and the physical fitness of our president, and that, you know, this is a big problem in the politics of Nigeria, and especially the circumstances we have now, that we need a leader that is coming to the fore when there are issues of national importance like security, poverty, hunger, unemployment. Speak to the people. He is the father of the nation, if you like, and he needs to speak to the Nigerians like Biden And unfortunately, we have not had that. My personal opinion is that from day one, I've always known that the president has got medical issues. I think that we should have, in a country, our legislators, I call them legislators, and no apologies for that, are not doing their job. They should be changing the constitution to make it mandatory that any presidential candidate, their medical history and their medical records must be made public. Yeah. That's one. Two, they should change the law that media conferences and media meeting the press on a regular basis must be compulsory. These are things that they should do. Mr. McKeon, you were talking about the president. You were talking about Adesina and so on. Let's get back to
Adesina is doing what he is paid to do.
He's the spokesman. Yeah, that's his job.
He's doing what he's paid to do.
Yeah.
Now, I still put my blame squarely on all Nigerians. Now, if you talk of psychological and physical capacity, do we have a baseline? If somebody that is not psychologically sound, how do you measure soundness, psychological soundness?
Yeah, but this is not a statement of fact. Hold on. This is not a statement of fact, mind you. This is someone just making an appointment.
Yes.
There's no basis behind this statement.
Yes. And the individual that has put himself forward for election feels that he is psychologically and physically sound to contest and be your leader. And then you vote him in. So now, if problems arise subsequently, who is it that is psychologically unsound? Is it you that voted him in, or the one that got voted in?
Well, if you had two choices, like I said, of two bad eggs, you had the man that you feel has got physical issues, or you have the man who's got corruption issues. At a time when corruption was the main primary problem as Nigerian Electric saw it, who would they choose?
Nigerians knew that Buhari was at a certain age when they voted him in.
Absolutely.
They knew that his health condition when they voted him in.
Yes.
So why would they be talking about that now? They have met that, well, whether it is a mistake or not, they need to bear the brunt and prepare themselves for 2023.
I don't disagree with you at all.
And you see, to tell you one thing, I don't have anything personally against Buhari, but the man, knowing him from 1980, was 81, 82, 83, when they took the leadership of the country with Deacon, they had good intention. And some of us still remember that performance. And most Nigerians thought that the man was going to do as he did during that time. Yeah, he was going to bring some sanity into the system.
Mackwin, I will say that he is the same. Sorry to cut you in now, because I've got to get back to it. I would say that Buhari is the same man. Obviously, he's aged now. People call him Baba Go-Slow. But if we want to remember going back to 83 and when he was there during the time of the first military era,
83, yeah.
He wasn't really the speaker. The person, the active one, and the face of the government was Idiagmo. He was always on show. He was the one doing most of the talking. The power behind was Buhari.
So you see that nothing has changed, which means he's still the same Buhari.
So
he wasn't always
he hasn't
a public figure. Yeah,
but,
he has, so which means that he has not changed. So you see, at that time, Idiagbo was always the one at the public, facing the public or talking for the leadership. Now, this time is not any different. So it's not going to change, and maybe we thought he would change and come out and be talking, unlike when he was in the military.
No,
but that is not his nature.
Yeah, that was never his nature. And that's an expectation that has fallen flat on our faces now that
and still,
that
it is
that
still.
President Buhari will be different to General Buhari.
But I am telling you, if Nigerians had the courage to face Buhari and tell him what is happening is not good, he needs to act, the man would have acted. But all the people are around him.
Are Nigerians not speaking to him now?
Well, you go on and make all your noises in the newspapers, on the media. Does it get to him?
I'm sure.
How do you know that
let me come back to Abba in the studio. Look, the president is the president. He's going to do what he's going to do. At the end of the day, Nigeria is at a critical stage now with violence and all these amount of issues happening up and down the country. We expect a president to speak to these things. Our president isn't speaking to these things. And it's a problem. Look, we've had insecurity and demonization of various ethnicities, which has led to tit-for-tat measures. You've had killings, destruction of properties, blockades, all manner of things happening in Nigeria now. You know, this tit-for-tat measures, blockades, destruction of property, accusing a whole ethnicity of being killer herdsmen, Fulani killer herdsmen, and so on. Where is the way forward? Apart from speaking to the president, because the president, he's got his assistants and special advisors and whoever they're speaking, the public affairs and the spokesman are the ones speaking for him. But apart from them speaking for him, what can we do as a collective in the spirit of bipartisan? Because I think that is necessary. Rather than polarizing everything, how can Nigerians now unite to confront this thing? Because I put it to you that it's the selfish, corrupt politicians that are using all these ethnic conflicts and other criminal elements dealing in internal and external, dealing in conflict for them to exploit the country in terms of minerals and whatnot. What can the people as a people and the parties together do to confront this?
Femi, a typical example is what is happening in Southwest now, when a political activist, Chief Sunday Adeyemo, aka Sunday Igboho, has now taken it upon himself to say, look, if the governments want to fold their arms and pretend as if everything is normal, then we will probably have to, go the extra mile and come to defend our nation. What are they? Okay, because you're now saying what is the way forward? Now people are now coming out, and the governments are misinterpreting their actions as not contrary to what the action is contrary to what the constitution says. But you are not protecting the lives and the properties of the people who you're meant to to govern.
We've had this debate before about self-help. And we've seen the results of self-help, which has led to the shasha destruction of millions, if not billions, of property, lives lost, destruction of...
What I can tell you...
Hold on, this is from a personal taking their own... He might not be the one that spearheaded it, but as a result of that, look at what's happening. How can that be the way forward?
Look, Femi, the problem is, you've summarized it in a nutshell. When we have global issues, problems that everybody needs to come together and look for a common course of action, you now see some people who will now put,
span in the works.
Yes, and look at ways of, making a mess of the whole thing. And that's exactly what happened in Chasha. Okay.
Isn't that what happened at NSARS? Isn't that what happened at NSARS?
We need to be our brother's keeper. I'm sorry to say, I'm always one of those people who always think, look, the government are not doing enough. But the government can only seek the cooperation of our people as well. To say, look, it is your community, it is your local government, it is your state. let us come together. If we need to fight insecurity, if we need to fight kidnapping, let us come together. Some people are even behind, these kidnappings. Members of their own family, members in their own. There are so many people who travel from different parts of the world to Nigeria and become victims of kidnappings and all that. All in the name of ransoms. Is that the fault of the federal government as well? Is that the fault of the state governors? The problem is a lot of people are exploiting and taking advantage of an already critical and tense situation. And the only way in which we can try and avoid these things descending into total chaos is for everybody to unite together within their communities. Take your plights to your state governor through community leadership, and from community leadership, those will be your spokespeople. Through your respective governors, your respective state governors, and the state governors will now have their what they call their national governors forum, and from there, that will go to the presidency. It has to be staged, FEMI. People cannot just continue to do what they want, or exploiting an already tense situation by burning down properties, taking advantage, all in the name of personal gratification or personal gain. And that is the problem. You see, when there are problems within the community, or as you said earlier, anything suspicious that you think could cause mayhem within your society, report it to your local community, report it to the necessary authorities. That will get to your state governor. From your state, the state governor will now collect information, send representatives, security, law enforcement officers, either police officers and the mobile police. Name it. Anybody designated to be in charge of security affairs in each local government, in each respective state. It has to be in unison with one another. That when there's tremendous improvement within your state, then that will begin to transcend to every state across the nation. Our president is not talking. From the discussion with our fellow gentleman on the Mackwin, Buhari has never been known to be a president who likes to come out to address the nation when it comes to critical issues like this. What do we now do? Do we now say, okay, in the event of all these these problems, that we should just sit down, fold our arms, because the president is not. We have to, there needs to be some form of. There's what we call pressure group. The essence of a pressure group is to put pressure on the government to be able to ensure that things that are not normal, in any society that is now becoming abnormal, should be restored back to normality. We don't have enough pressure groups in Nigeria to enforce these things. And that has to start from our communities to local government level, from local government then to the state. Then it is now the responsibility of these state governors, by partisan politics, as I said, that whether you are an APC governor or a PDP governor or whichever political party you belong to, these meetings has to be, in the common interest of Nigerians, because without these people, we don't get to the position we are.
Okay. Yeah. We're coming almost to the end of this program, but I want to speak to Mackwin on this, the blockade of foodstuffs by some people in the north. I don't know how effective it was, but it's having a big impact in the south. Not only in the south and the north. So the blockade is causing low foodstuff prices in the north, and in fact a lot of foodstuffs are rotting away because they're not getting transported to the end users. And in the south, a lot of people are having to pay high prices for their foodstuff because there's a shortage. So this blockade of food stores has highlighted the interdependence of all regions in Nigeria. So therefore, can we really survive as separate entities? I mean, I know you're from the Middle Belt, North Central. What do you see? Can North Central survive on its own? Are we truly interdependent now? And Nigeria is one.
You see, Now that leads to the issue of restructuring.
Yes.
Now, and that is something that was, well, that brings about the discussion of the Constitutional Conference that you mentioned earlier.
We've had 2 under the PDP.
Yes, and you see, the problem with us, I think it is all of us. Now, I had the previous president talking about Constitutional Conference some time back.
Which of them?
President Jonathan.
Oh, Jonathan, yeah?
Jonathan. Now,
he had one and he didn't execute it.
He had, that is it, that's what I was going to say. And he didn't implement it, and he expects Buhari to implement it. If Buhari will not implement it, maybe he will call another constitutional conference, and then he will hand over to another president, and the same thing will happen.
No,
you see, until Nigerians unite. You see, now when the killings started, it was, they were saying jihad. They were saying it was just, initially, at some point in Plateau State, or when Plateau and Nasarawa were together, and Benue Plateau,
Benue as well.
Yes, as far back, there wasn't this kind of killings, but it started around the time there was this, when they separated, when they took away Benue, and then there was this, occasionally you will see killings. People would kill, and we don't know who it was. And then it was, at a point they were saying, it is farmers, herders fight.
You also had
ethnic
clashes as well,
ethnic clashes. Meanwhile, clearly, these farmers, these poor peasant farmers that can hardly afford hoes to use in their farm, how could they afford weapons to fight people that come with heavy arms? Now, nobody listened. They went to Benue, massacred a lot of people. They massacred a lot of people in Plateau State, in Nasarawa State. Nobody said anything. People cried. And in fact, that is the Middle Belt. People in the South and people in the North were emphasizing that it is ethnic clashes. Nobody understood that it is Fulani coming with arms and killing and taking over land. Now, it has engulfed the whole country. Now, a typical person in the South is feeling the pinch. A typical person in the North is not left. Is also feeling the pinch. The typical person in the Middle Belt has had this for so long. So we need to unite. So what I am now saying, we need to unite in the sense that this has happened. Let's put it behind us. Let's put our differences behind us. Unite. Whoever is in leadership, let him be for all of us, not for a particular ethnic group, not for the Hausas, not for the Yorubas, not for the Igbos. Let him be for Nigeria. And how are we going to do that? We do that when I speak up, when I see an Igbo man being maltreated or being disenfranchised. I speak out when I see a Yoruba man being disenfranchised or when a Hausa man being disenfranchised.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Yes.
I shouldn't be quiet. But now you hear people, when somebody speaks about maybe a criminal that has gone to kill, maybe in Kaduna, for example, you say, this man is anti-Hausa, or this man is anti-North, or this man is, do you understand? Why should it be so? So everybody now speaks, so everybody now speaks for his ethnic group. Then where are we, or how are we going to progress?
Thank you, Mackwin. Let me get to Oba. Mackwin is saying, basically, as you heard him, that it's time to unite. That with criminality now and insecurity, tribes are speaking about themselves, securing themselves. They're not talking about the collective. And this is the problem. When there's killings, as a Yoruba man, if the person that's been killed is a Shekiri man, it should pain me. As much as if it's a man from Yoruba side, or if it's a woman, or even if it's an Hausa man, if it's a Fulani man, every life must count. And it's important. Any ounce of blood that's spilled is important.
Yes.
And this is the problem. When we're in a situation where it depends on the color of your blood. If your blood is Yoruba blood, then we value your life more because I'm Yoruba. This is ridiculous. We need to now unite. So in the spirit of uniting and bipartisan, I want to ask you, and I'm going to ask Mackwin before we cut out, is it time to unite and for both parties to opt for an Igbo presidency ahead of 2023? What is your stance?
Femi, from since independence in 1960, we've only had one Igbo president.
It wasn't even a president; it's head of state.
Head of state. Whatever name you
the president was the ceremonials.
And since then, you know, in terms of the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you know, the closer they've come is second in command. Now, to me, that's not a viable option, you know. And that is the plight we are facing. Nobody believes in one Nigeria anymore. Everybody is now.
Some people, not everybody.
Well, majority, because
that's even conjecture. I disagree with you on that.
Let me. When I say majority, I stand by what I said, because people are now looking at the brand Nigeria as a country that everybody, you know, seems to be doing what is applicable, you know, to them.
We're being called on time. So just to the question, is it time, 2023, you've said there have not been an elected Igbo president. Is it time, 2023? Is it time?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
You don't expect your party, PDP, to put forward a Southerner, an Igbo president candidate in 2023?
I think the problem we have with the Easterners as well is
no, let's not go to that. Well, that's another question. Is it time or not? Because
it's not
time.
Yeah, the thing is, you need to have people who can agree on the common cause. Okay. And the problem is, you know, the Igbos who are known not to.
That's your point of view. Okay.
You know,
I'll take issue on that, but we'll go to Mr.
Maybe it's something for discussion
Mr.
on another.
Mackwin,
Yeah.
How say you? Is it time for Nigeria to unite around an Igbo presidency ahead of 2023? For both parties to choose a Southerner for the first thing, and then for that Southerner to be an Igbo presidential candidate. What say you?
Yes, I think for fairness, we need to unite and vote in an Igbo president. Now an Igbo man as the president of Nigeria, or an Igbo man or woman as the president of Nigeria. Now, I am in for anybody from any part of Nigeria to be president. But because it has been like rotational, so let's give them the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Mackwin. I think we're going to end on that note. I'll add my 2 cents as well, and I will support you in saying that I too think in 2023 it's time for a Southern president. That's the first thing. That must go without saying. And that Southern president should come from the southeast of Nigeria, and that's likely to be an Igbo president. If Nigeria is really going to be true to a country for all, I think the old national anthem said, though tongues and something may differ,
creeds may differ.
One people. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So we are one, and if we can have Fulani president, we can have a Yoruba president, we can have Ijaw president. I see the reason why now we can't have an Igbo president. On that note, we're going to call it a day. We'll have a program specifically about that. I'm not sure when. But I want to thank you for joining us on tonight's show, which is Enough is Enough. Please make sure that you SORO SOKE. Don't be shy, don't be silent. If you see something, say something. If you can't take it no more, say something, do something. Naija go better. We all want to be Betta9ja. For sponsorship and advertisements, please contact the numbers on your screen. I'm your host, Mr. FEMI OKE, the founder of Betta9ja, signing out. See you same time next week when we will debate another hot topic. Over and out.
Thank you.
Níbi àríyá tàbí lóde ayé ṣe fún wọn nílé afẹ́ ò tàbí níbikíbi. Bóyá 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 ò kẹ́gbọ́n mi. Sweet heart fruit ń gbẹ́lẹ̀ ìdè o, ó táwọn yọ. Wow! Here is a good information for everybody. Have the rich taste of fruit in different form at your parties, event, church program, or social engagement like wedding, birthday, conference in your house, and lots more. Fruit cocktails, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration, fruit kebab, and lots more at Sweet Heart Fruit Company. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ní gbogbo ibi tí a bá ti ń ṣe àríyá, ìgbéyàwó, ọjọ́ ìbí, àjọ̀dún ilé ìjọsìn, níbi afẹ́ tàbí ibi ìgbádùn àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, ẹ kàn sí Sweet Heart Fruit ní èyíkéyìí ohun tí ẹ bá fẹ́ kí wọ́n fi fruit dálẹ́rà fún yín bíi fruit cocktail, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà, ẹ lè kàn sí wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 079-442-78530 or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all social media platforms at Sweet Heart Fruit. Oluwaseun Akishoun is the CEO of Sweet Heart Fruit. Patronize us at Sweet Heart Fruit today. You will be glad you business with us.